Hello, dear fans, friends, and subscribers. This is your host Ram on the Cricket Show with you on Cricket Happenings. This on a Sunday, and as far as today's Cricket Happening show goes, one probably didn't feel, probably one felt that England were improving a bit, but that was all so totally false as within 3 days, Australia wiped out England in the final Test match of the Ashes series, when they won by a big margin of 146 runs. After the Englishmen were given a target of 271 runs to chase, and they all folded up. They lost 10 wickets for 56 runs. They got a good opening start of 68 or 70 odd runs from Rory Burns and Crawley. But once the first wicket fell, it was all over for England, as 10 wickets fell for 56 runs in a dramatic collapse by England. 146-run victory for Australia. Australia took the series 4-0, and England, I think, had to definitely go back to the drawing board to really find out as to how they are going to combat Australia. Now, so that is something which I'm going to talk about, which will be center stage as far as this Cricket Happening show is concerned. And we'll also have a look at the first ODI where Sri Lanka, as I said, were precariously placed in the ODI Super League points table, but they have done a good turn for themselves as they won the first ODI by 5 wickets despite a century from Zimbabwe. Zimbabwe putting up a good show of 296 on the board, but the Sri Lanka's batting really coming, especially Dinesh Chandimal and Charita Slanka and Patham Nisanka coming together and seeing to it that Sri Lanka usurped that total, and that's what they did, won by 5 wickets. And also there is a live update right now. As you know, Ireland the other day by Duckworth-Lewis method due to rain leveled the ODI series, and the final ODI right now is underway at Kingston in Jamaica. And I can tell you that Ireland are looking very good here. They are just giving you a live update, which I'll be keeping going. So third ODI, Kingston's the final ODI for Ireland. Whether this will be their first series win against West Indies, because right now, as I talk to you, West Indies were bowled out for 212, and Ireland currently in pursuit of the target are doing very well. 13 overs have been bowled, and the score reached 73 for 1. Paul Sterling is 44 not out of 38. There was 5 fours and 1. Andy McBride, who has been doing a very good job in this particular series, is not out of 21 of 39. And the West Indies have a big job to do to really save themselves from losing to Ireland. So that is going to be pretty interesting at that. Now, so first I'm heading towards Australia versus England. And as I said, the Aussies resumed at their overnight score of 37 for 3 with Stephen Smith and the night watchman Boland at the crease. Boland resisted for quite some time, but then Wood was the man who did the trick today, and Wood bowled a lot of short stuff, and he also kept picking up wickets, and that was the real key. And he was bowling with lots of pace as well, and he harried even the best batsman Stephen Smith to get him out for just 27 with 4 boundaries. And I thought the Aussies had done very good work. They had done short work of Australia, and they bowled out the Aussies for 155 runs, thanks to a magnificent bowling spell from Mark Wood, with a lot of short deliveries inducted into that. 16.3 overs, 2 maidens, 37 runs and 6 wickets, and this was his best bowling performance ever for Mark Wood. He really deserved that. He harried the batsman. Stephen Smith was forced to hook at a ball from Wood. He was gone for 27 with 4 boundaries. Boland left for 8. He also got a lifter from Wood. Travis Head was caught by Billings of the bowling of Wood. He was caught down the leg side. Cameron Green did a decent job, making 23 with 3 boundaries. It was LBW bowled brought for 23. Alex Carey, for the first time in the series, definitely showing some real pluck there out in the middle. Was caught behind the bowling of Broad for 49, 4 boundaries. Mitchell, and after that, Wood cleaned it up. Mitchell Starc was out to Wood for 1. Pat Cummins lost his stumps to Wood for 13. And that was the end of it. Nathan Lyon remained not out on 4. And 155 all out. Wood totally cleaning up the England team. And England would have said that with 271 runs to win the match, they definitely had a chance. Stuart Broad, 3 for 51, 1 for 40 for Chris Wokes, 6 for 37 Mark Wood. Tremendous bowling spell from Mark Wood with pace and bounce. And the ball definitely, we could see it was seaming about a bit. And look at the England innings. I mean, what a sham that was. I mean, the opening batsmen have done the hard yards. There were 68 runs have been added by the opening pair of Rory Burns and Zach Crawley, and 68 runs have been added. So they definitely were on target towards the target of 271 runs. At least the start was good. But who would have expected that England would fold? England would fold like a sort of a probably a mat, one could say, because what happened was that the Englishmen were bowled out for 124 in less than 3 days in this test, thus giving Australia a 146 runs win in the final test match of the series. And Australia had an Ashes Test series win 4-0 with England, and they totally deserved that. And for England, it is really going back to the board. So let's have a look at the England card and see what really transpired as the first wicket to go. 56 runs going with all the wickets. 68 runs were added. And now I will narrate the tale wicket by wicket. Rory Burns was the first to go. He was clean bowled by Cameron Green, chopped the ball onto his stumps, and Australia had the breakthrough just before tea. And that was the end of Rory Burns, 26 with 4 boundaries. The next to go was Zach Crawley, who made 36 with 7 boundaries. As usual, he's a very strokeful player, no doubt about it. But Green was at it again after tea, as he actually coaxed Zach Crawley into the drive, and it was Alex Carey behind the stumps grabbing another catch. David Mallon was shaken by a delivery from Cameron Green, where he was hit basically. But this was brilliant bowling from Cameron Green. He actually got David Mallon to get an inside that onto his stumps, and David Mallon was gone, bowled by Green for 10 with 2 boundaries. Joe Root once again has been very, very susceptible against Scott Bolland. Bolland has taken his wickets a long time, but this ball definitely is a real grubber, as we call. The ball kept extremely low. It went under the toe of his bat and smashed into the stumps. And Joe Root was gone, bowled by Bolland for 11 with 1 boundary. Mitchell Starc picked up the wicket of Ben Stokes as there was a short delivery. Stokes went for it, and Nathan Lyon at square leg taking a wonderful catch. Definitely, even at this age, Nathan Lyon showing sharp reflexes as he dived in and saw to it that he did not hit the rope and picked up the catch, and Ben Stokes was a goner. Ollie Pope was clean bowled by Cummins for 5. This was a real nip back from Patrick Cummins that really swerved in and went past his bat and pad gap into the stumps. He was gone for 5. Sam Billings was caught by Cummins on the bowling of Bolland, and it was a very tame shot attempted by Sam Billings as the ball also stopped a bit, and in the process Billings was trying to clip it through the mid-wicket region, and the ball was spooned straight up to Cummins, who accepted it gleefully. Sam Billings gone for 1, and the score read 107 for 6, with the Englishmen totally sinking. And Chris Wokes was the next to go, caught by Carey on the bowling of Bolland. This was a wonderful catch by Carey because the ball, he was trying to put it through the onside, and it was a thick edge, but it was a good catch by Carey behind the stumps. He had to really dive into it, and he managed to just hang on to that, and that was 115 for 8. Mark Wood was clean bowled by Cummins for 11 as he was forced onto a hook shot but he could not get it right, and he bottomed it, edged it straight into the middle stump, and he was a goner for 11. Ollie Robinson lost his stumps to Cummins for naught, and that was the end of the Ashes Test series. As I said, 10 wickets were gone for 56 runs as Robinson tried to give room for himself to crash probably Cummins through the offside, but in the process he lost his stumps, and that was all over. 56 runs and 10 wickets lost. England all out for 124 as Australia won the match by a big margin of 146 runs. Australia winning the Ashes series 4-0, and congratulations to Australia. Broad remained not out on one, and the bowling figures, Cameron Green was the one who really gave the thrust to that collapse that England had of 10 wickets for 56 as he picked up 3 wickets for 21. He has been someone who has really made a mark in this particular series, even though he did well against India. When India came, it was his first series, was his second series, and our Cameron Green is really making those rapid strides now in batting and bowling. Scott Boland, 12 overs, 5 minutes, 3 for 8, and what a series for Scott Boland. I mean, take a bow, Scott Boland, coming in from somewhere. Even one was thinking as Ian Chappell, if you had read it in the article, he was talking about Keegan Peterson. Keegan Peterson, where was he? After looking at the age of Keegan Peterson, Ian Chappell, in fact, pointed out that Keegan Peterson should have been in the South African squad long way back. Where was he? So I would be asking the same question to Australia. Where was Scott Boland before, who has come in at such a late stage? 12 overs, 5 minutes, 3 for 18, 18 wickets in the series, and really take a bow. Pat Cummins himself leading by example as the Aussie captain. Splendid bowling, 12.5 overs, 3 maidens, 42 runs and 3 wickets for Pat Cummins. Mitchell Starc at 1 for 30. And I have something to say here. Travis Head was named the player of the match and the player of the series. And for Australia, they could only see gains from this particular series. Everything went for them. Anything they put, everything. I mean, look at the way they were out of they didn't have their main strike bowlers. Josh Hazelwood, one of the prime bowlers, was missing. There was no the person who took a fifer, Jai Richardson, was missing. And despite that, Usman Khawaja came in, reeled off 2 centuries back to back in the fourth Test match. Labuschagne has been consistent. Stephen Smith, well, he has not had a century in this series at all. Cameron Green, as I said, has been a revelation. Travis Head has been another revelation for Australia, no doubt about it. And other than that, Alex Carey behind the stumps probably could do a bit more work behind the stumps to get as perfect as possible. The bowling of Scott Boland, as I told you, is someone who has made a real mark in Australian cricket right now. That is as far as Australia versus England is concerned. But one thing I have to say, I found the Joe Root's captaincy really a bit on the defensive. When they had the Englishmen in absolute trouble, especially the Aussies were in absolute trouble. They had lost 5 wickets the other day, and the score. If you look at the score there, I'm just looking at the score of the Aussies. Yesterday, they were in a very tight situation at one point of time. They were, I think, 63 for 6. Cameron Green was in the middle. Alex Carey was in the middle. And, if you have a situation like this, what would you do? You would like to have slips in place. Even the commentators were talking about it. You would like to have the slips in place. But what a surprise that Joe Root, such a good captain, did not even have any slips in place. He had people close to the wicket. That is okay, but especially considering 2 new batsmen at the crease, slips are. I mean, you have to really ramp up the pressure, no doubt about it. I know that probably that would have not made a big difference, but definitely I thought Joe Root's captaincy was, and I think he's already under a lot of fire now as far as his captaincy is concerned. I sincerely have a feeling that Joe Root might have to cop it. I don't think, this is my, I have a feeling that Joe Root might be on the verge of losing his captaincy after this debacle that they had against Australia and the Ashes series. Well, I wish him good luck, but we know that he himself is a classy player, and Joe Root is someone I think might go the Virat Kohli way probably. But he himself has said that he enjoys his captaincy. But it is time to really, really pull up the sleeves, according to me, as far as Joe Root is concerned. In the meanwhile, I'm taking you down to Kingston in Jamaica as a live update there. One more wicket has gone for them. They have just lost the wicket of Paul Sterling, so that's a big blow for them because he's one of the prime players. LBW ball, Hakil Hussain, the spinner, for 44. So Sterling is gone. Sterling actually got a loose delivery from Akil Hussain, and he probably tried to, he tried to, it actually hit the pad, and it was reviewed, and the decision was that it was out, and Paul Sterling had to go. But still, they have nothing to worry. They're 80 for 2. They still have 35 overs still left in which to get 133. According to me, it is not something which is beyond them. Andy McBride is doing well, 26 with 5 boundaries. And Harry Tector has just walked in. Harry Tector is the most consistent player in the Ireland setup right now. So this is as far as Australia versus England. It's all for England. I think they have a lot of soul searching to do. They have to really, really work on a lot of things. Their opening combination has to be really sorted out. I think Zach Crawley definitely is no doubt is the future, but I don't think Rory Burns will fit that. They tried Rory Burns. He flopped. They tried... the other guy, what's his name? I'm just trying to get him. Well, probably I'm not able to get it right now, but definitely there is some real work to be done as far as England is concerned. The bowling, Ollie Robinson needs to get more fit, I reckon. And Mark Wood was superb. Chris Woakes could not make much of an impression in this particular series. Now, let's get on to the Zimbabwe versus Sri Lanka. As I said, Sri Lanka winning the first ODI. By 5 wickets. Zimbabwe batting first, putting up a good score on the board, I thought. But probably in the last 2 overs, they really missed the trick because they could eke out only 10 runs. Probably this wicket, the on-par score was probably in excess of 300, which was not to be. But as far as Zimbabwe is concerned, Sean Williams was the one who really put up a fine show, picking up a century. He made 187 deliveries, 9 4s and 2 6s. Takudzwanche Kaitano for Zimbabwe was making his ODI debut, I reckon, and I thought he did a very, very good job. He showed some nice strokes in his sweet knock of 42 or 50 deliveries, 7 4s. He forged a good opening partnership that really set the platform for Zimbabwe to go on to 296 for 9. Takudzwanche Kaitano and Regis Chakaba, as I've already been telling yesterday also in my preview, that Chakaba is a much improved player. He's on someone on whom Zimbabwe can really bank on, and that's what he precisely did. He scored 72 of 81 deliveries, which included 6 4s and 1 6, and they added 80 for the first wicket. Kaitano was out for 42, but impressive 42 on his ODI debut. Other than that, Sean Williams was the one who came there in the middle order and stitched up 100 runs of 87 deliveries, 9 4s and 2 6s. Other than that, Wesley Mathivere made 20. The Irvine, the captain, failed with just 9 runs, 18 to Sikandar Raza, Ryan Burl 4, Nasakadza 6, Blessing Musrabani 3, and 296 for 9 was on the board for Zimbabwe, which was still considered a good score, but probably they could have done more in the death overs, as we call it, because I'm told they got only 10 runs, and that is not something you require, especially if you have been you are on a real firm platform at that particular stage of the game. The bowling, if you look at it, 3 for 69 for Chamika Karunaratne. They had Chamika Gunashekara, who actually made his debut, but 1 over for 8 runs, and he never bowled after that. Tikshana had 10 for 40, 2 for 54 for Nuwan Pradeep, 3 for 69 Chamika Karunaratne, 244 Jeffrey Vandersay, the leggy, and Kamindo Mendes, 1 for 32. The Sri Lankans, the target of 297 runs they had. Well, they definitely got good contributions. Pathum Nisanka getting his first 50 in ODI cricket, 75, 71, 10 4s in that. After Kushal Mendes coming back into the team, contributed 26 of 24, 6 boundaries in that. It was an attractive looking innings. Kamindo Mendes was out for 17, but it was Dinesh Chandimal and Charita Slanka with a big partnership that enabled Sri Lanka to go and win the first ODI by 5 wickets. As this partnership put on 130 odd runs, with Dinesh Chandimal's contribution being 75-91, 4 fours and 1 6. But Charita Sri Lanka was much more aggressive than Chandimal, 71 of 68, 6 fours and 2 sixes. And after that, it was a mere formality with the captain, Dasun Chanaka and Chanika Karunaratne at the crease. 300 for 5, game over. Zimbabwe losing the first ODI to Sri Lanka by 5 wickets. Bowling, if you look at that, Nagarava, Richard Nagarava is a tall bowler. So definitely, if you look at the Zimbabwe bowlers, they have 3 tall bowlers, Blessing Muzrabani, Tendai Chatara, and Dichana. Both are tall. So whenever they get bouncy pitches, they can really extract something out of it. They already get natural bounce because of the good height. And Richard Nagarava was very good. 9 overs, 3 for 56, 1 for 58 for Blessing Muzrabani, none for 56 for Tendai Chatara, and 1 for 23 for Sikandar Raza. And the man of the match going to Dinesh Chandimal for his effort there. Now, the live cricket update, as I'm talking to you, this is the last thing on my cricket show today. Talking about the live update. Currently, I see the 86 for 2. They are absolutely on course right now, I can say. And look at what Ireland has done. They bowled out the West Indians for 212, and that in itself is a very, very good performance by Ireland. West Indies 212 all out, the highest scorer being Shai Hope at the top of the order, cracking a meaty 53 of just 39 deliveries, 9 fours and 1 6. Other than that, there was a bit of a big lull, one could call, with Justin Greaves out for 12, Pooran for 2, Brooks for 1, and Roston Chase for 19, and Pollard, the captain, dismissed for 3. But Jason Holder held it together for them, making sure that they last, but it still could not last the entire 50 overs, as they were bowled out in 44.4 overs for just 212. Jason Holder, 44 of 60 deliveries, 6 fours, held it together. Other than that, they had contributions coming from Akil Hussain, 23 at the end. But Orion Smith, he is someone, according to me, he's the pinch hitter of the West Indian cricket team now. I mean, if he hits the ball, it is with awesome power, one could say. He's very short, but very burly built of his. He really gives the ball a real whack, and the ball really stays real hit. 20 not out in the end of 10 deliveries, 1 4 and 2 sixes, and West Indies went on to a score of 212. As far as the bowling was concerned from Ireland, Craig Angan 3 for 43, 4 for 28. Andy McBride has made this series his own. I won't be even surprised if Andy McBride gets the player of the series in this particular ODI series, as Andy McBride bowled 10 overs, 2 minutes, 28 runs and 4 wickets. And as I'm talking to you, Andy McBride with the bat, he's already there in the center, not out on 28 for 5 boundaries. And I think Andy McBride has really improved a lot. His batting, bowling, everything is coming to the fore now. I think this Ireland team is looking pretty good, according to me, and I won't be surprised today if Ireland win this ODI series against West Indies today. And Curtis Camphor, 1 for 14, Dockrell, 1 for 11, and that was the story of the day. Josh Little, 9 overs, 1 minute for 55. So as I'm talking to you, the live update coming in from Kingston, West Indies in Jamaica. William Porterfield was out for naught. He was out for the very, very first delivery from Alzari Joseph. Paul Sterling made 44 of 38, 5 fours, 1 6. McBride, 28 not out. Harry Tetris not out on 7. The current score reads 89 for 2. So let's have a very live update before I leave you on this cricket happening show here today. Ireland 89 for 2 currently, 16.4 overs gone, and Ireland need 124 runs from the next 33.2 overs. It's an absolute possibility, and as I said, I'm not going to be surprised if Ireland go on to win the ODI series against West Indies 2-1 today. Well, this being said, it's about time for me to wrap up on this cricket show, Cricket Happenings. Hope you all liked it. With more to come, not in the weekdays, as you all know. It will be back in the weekend on a Saturday, once again recounting the week's events as far as cricket is concerned, and I'll be getting cracking once again. Until then, if at all you still want to go and look at any of the cricket, anything on the social media on cricket, go to my Twitter page where I normally tweet on cricket. or you can go to the Buddies. Cricket Buddies is somewhere which I am a bit active as well. And then you can also visit my website, www.cricket-traders.com. And that's it from me, your host Ram, and rest on next Saturday. Until then, goodbye.